Hey everyone, and welcome back to Practically Zero Waste, a podcast for making zero waste living as practical as possible. I'm your host, Elspeth Callahan, and I went with Loop-dee-doo. So I'm just going to review my experience with Loop just a little bit today and talk a bit about what I think of it and if it's worth pursuing in the long run as a regular thing, and that's about it. Right now, let me tell you about the things that I got, such as ketchup and oil, juice, tomato sauce. That's all I got because the selection is a little limited right now. Right now I'm going to talk about the packaging. So it's just pretty much the same bottle that you would have found in the grocery store. The only difference that I've noticed so far is that the stickers on it are a little bit more plasticky and not like a paper. And the other thing is that it has the Loop logo on the back. Other than that, the packaging pretty much feels the same with the items that I went with. I know things like ice cream, chocolate chips, lots of those things are in packaging of a different kind. They were either things I didn't need or things that were out of stock actually. But these are the ones that I went with. And comparing it to, this is one that I bought in a store ages ago. And this is one that it came with Loop. And again, the only difference seems to be the logos on the back. So this is the one that will give me a deposit back. It's a 50-cent deposit on this bottle, which will go back on my Loop store account, which I don't know if I can get that fully refunded back onto my credit card or something like that, but at this point it'll just go back onto the account. It does still have the little metal or plastic, pretty sure it's metal, but like it's a mixed kind of lid. It has the same system as this one does. So on the inside of the lid, there is the plastic interior. So this is garbage. You can't just throw this in your recycling, even though it's metal and plastic, because it is mixed together and too complicated to separate. At least in my area, that's the case. And then there's also this little metal ring that is left behind when you snap that open. So I don't know what that looks like when it's returned to Loop, if they're able to remove the whole thing and start fresh with a whole new lid system, so that wouldn't be reusable, but this part is reusable. It's a start. Comparing the tomato sauce, I also have a jar that we just finished that again I bought from the store. So this one has the Loop logo on it, and the material used for the label is a bit more of a plasticky sticker than it is on here. This is much more of a paper type label. I don't know how reusable a lid is when it has been sealed with like a vacuum seal, just like with canning tomatoes. Even when I'm canning stuff at home, it says not to reuse the little discs that you use for canning. Do I have an example of one? Even if something looks perfectly good, like this canning lid that I used once to can tomatoes, they highly recommend throwing this away completely in the garbage when you're canning and getting a brand new one to guarantee the vacuum seal and that pop and that suction. So I don't know how reusable a lid like this is. The jar, endlessly reusable. We all know that. But the lid, I'm not sure about that. This ketchup partnered with Heinz. So far all of the products that I've grabbed have been the PC brand of product, and that has been amazing that a large company like President's Choice here in Canada was able to partner with Loop and provide amazing amounts of their products as reusable options with Loop, or in reusable packaging with Loop, especially the ones that are already in pretty straightforward reusable packaging like glass jars. But as far as Heinz goes, I don't know who owns Heinz, but it's possible that they're owned either by a company like Loblaws and PC, or they're partnering with Loop on their own. So far, it still has, again, a lid that's going to be likely not reusable because it has to have a seal that pops. And it also has a little plastic cover on it. So that's something that I would peel back like that when I'm ready to use it. The other thing about this label is that it's got the Loop store on there as well, and a very papery feeling label. So again, maybe it depends on the wear and tear that a bottle goes through in the course of being used. For example, if ketchup drips down the side and it wrecks the label, maybe they're going to replace the label anyway. And so using like the majority of what is going to be reused is just the glass, and that's the only thing that I'm putting a deposit on, very likely. The last thing that I got was this organic lemonade, something that I've totally bought in store before because it has always had a logo on it that says return for refund where applicable, which I have never found a place that actually accepts it. I used to live in Montreal for university and would buy this there, and there were some stores that had a glass reusable or refundable bottle drop off, and I think they accepted it there. So things like Provigo or a couple of other stores like that in Quebec may accept bottles like this for reuse. Don't quote me on that. So it's interesting that you could already refund this in theory somewhere else, and I wonder what the refund amount is. For example, if I were to bring this to a store that accepts these for a bottle deposit, is it the same as what Loop Store has put as a deposit on here? And why didn't they take that off so that they could get their refund back? That little bit of information on the label. Interesting. Again, freshness seal. Not sure if the lid can be reused, but it doesn't have a plastic extra piece on there, which I think is really nice. I don't think that the plastic is necessary, like what Heinz did here, because it's got a freshness seal. So when you crack it open and you hear that pop, then you know that it was sealed properly. And if you don't hear that pop, maybe don't drink it. Other interesting elements was the packing system that looks very reusable at this point, assuming that this kind of stuff doesn't get too damaged. How it came was it was wrapped around the product, and then this section was fitted through one of the holes. And then this was tucked inside the case, which had the same kind of foam separating everything, kind of like a box of wine that would have all of the different things to divide up the bottles. This is how it came, all wrapped in this kind of reusable foam. So the tote bag itself only has a $5 deposit on it, which I assume includes the cost of replacing all of the interior padding. So if there was any damage done to the overall tote, then you would probably not get the deposit back. Same as if you were to return the whole system without all of the original bottles in there, then you wouldn't get the full deposit back. But if you don't have the lids included, I'm sure that you would still get the deposit back, because again, I don't think that they are reusing the lids. Otherwise, other than the products that come with a little bit of plastic, the only plastic packaging and waste has been the little tag that keeps the zippers sealed together right here, proving that no one has tampered with the items ahead of time. When it comes time to mail it back, all I'll have to do is take the shipping label off the top, flip it over because this is the return side, put it back in the case up there, and then inside is also provided another little zip tie that I'll just put through the loop and be able to zip it back together, and they will come once I've scheduled a pickup. All of this seems very fine and exciting if you are coming from a place where money is not as much of an object. Of course, I'm not exactly in that place. So I realize that Loop is definitely coming from a place of privilege, being able to order this and try these products, especially trying something like stuff that I know that I can buy in decent packaging anyway. It's not like I'm buying something that I don't have access to in a bulk store or don't have access to in general. Being able to participate in Loop is a huge privilege. They had, for Earth Month, the month of April, they had a 20% off your purchase coupon of all of the different things that you've bought, and also free shipping. On a regular day, shipping, which includes the return shipping, but getting this tote bag here and back again, is $25 Canadian, which is just so much money, especially if you're only refilling a couple of different things or using the bottle deposit system for a couple of different things. And it doesn't really balance out to be like, okay, well then I'll just buy more stuff to make the shipping worth it, because then your price tag is still going up. This Earth Month coupon, I was finally able to really bite the bullet and get these products that I know that I use anyway. I was running low on. I wasn't buying things just for the sake of buying them. I was able to participate in Loop or with Loop for the first time, which I would never have been able to do otherwise. And so it's exciting that I was able to participate, but that is a huge stumbling block for a lot of people, myself included, having to pay $25 round trip shipping for groceries that I can get at the grocery store. What I'm looking forward to with Loop is the day when they have a bottle drop-off deposit system at the stores that you can buy from. So if the cheap grocery store near my house that does carry these products, sometimes they don't have the ketchup one in glass, but they definitely have these products. This one, these are things that I buy anyway at the cheapest grocery store that's near me. And so if they are able to accept those bottles back at the grocery store, and Loop just does one big truckload a week picking up returns and bringing back bottles that are able to be reused, that's the circular system that I want to see, because then I don't have to pay for shipping and it's as convenient as just shopping and in theory throwing things away. Instead, I'm just bringing the bottles back. There was a brand of milk that we would buy called Organic Meadows, and it came in glass deposit bottles. There's a $2 deposit on the bottle, but then you could bring it back to that grocery store and Organic Meadows would pick it up, and you would get the deposit back. They would take the bottles back. The lid was discarded. In that case, it was a plastic lid with a plastic kind of loop around it, and you would just get a new bottle of milk. They would sanitize it, refill it, send it back. Like, it was the first time that I've encountered a circular system that just seemed to work really smoothly. That's the kind of thing that I would like to see Loop do, and I think that that is what they're working towards anyways. Other things that I would like to see with Loop, of course, is an increase in the variety of products, especially the kinds of things that are not already coming in a nice glass bottle. Things like ice cream is something that they have pursued. That's kind of a luxury item. It's not something that we buy here in this household that often. Other products that I would like to see in this kind of reusable, returnable packaging would be things like meat and dairy products, number one, and then also sometimes medications or any sort of item that comes in an absolutely disposable thing. Things that they're working on and have somewhat available are, depending on their stock, and some of their items are still coming soon, but they do have granolas, a variety of those, but they're really expensive. I would like to see them partner with something like Cheerios or something like any of the companies that are making just a regular, super cheap breakfast cereal, because that is something that we are still buying in this household, and it comes in a stiff plastic bag that's not recyclable. It gets used as our garbage bags, but we only need so many garbage bags, and it comes in a cardboard box. If there was a system that allowed for like a really durable, either a silicone or like a really durable material bag that a seal to keep things fresh and would be able to hold cereal, I think that that is something that Loop Store could start doing. One of the hindrances to getting something like this really, really going and really solidified and cemented into the everyday culture of our society and the things that we're purchasing on a regular basis is for there to be as many options as possible. They're in the weird situation right now where they need more participation and more engagement to see if people like this kind of thing in order to bring on more products and make more things available. They had a couple things like, I don't know, the barbecue sauce that we buy from the cheap grocery store, a couple different things like that. That were available coming soon, and so I would have absolutely included those in my order, but they're coming soon, so it's not there yet, so people need to participate first in order to have it be big enough to have all the different products available, but the products that I want and I would be willing to purchase are not yet available, and so I'm not as interested in participating. It's this hard cycle that we're in right now to try and get going. So, unfortunately, the Earth Month promotion has passed. It is now May, and so we can't, they don't currently have a coupon for 20% off your purchase and free shipping. But if Loop Store could offer that more often, or, you can't put all the items on sale, that's not what I'm asking for, but like if there could be ways of getting reduced shipping or free shipping coupons every once in a while. I think that would really help them get off the ground because the shipping was such a hindrance for me. Any questions about Loop Store or my experience with it, you can always let me know. I would love to hear more from you to see if anybody is using a reusable system that's similar to Loop, or if you have like a local CSA that's participating in using reusables instead of disposables, if you have a local grocery store that does deliveries and refills and allows for this, if you have a store like Sustain in your area that is using refills as a way of getting around plastic, and you want to see something bigger like Loop, then totally reach out. I would love to hear more about that. And that's all from me this week. If you have any questions, always write into the podcast. It's practicallyzerowaste@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram at practicallyzerowastepod. If you want to support the show, you can always go to ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/Elsbeth Callahan, and buy me a virtual cup of coffee. You can leave a rating or review for the podcast, or like and subscribe here on YouTube. Leave me a comment, send me a message. Have a great week, everyone, and talk to you soon.